you. I wanted to let you know that I have finally arrived at some clarity on the Higher Self series, and I'm pretty excited about it. And believe it or not, I'm doing another major commitment of 22 days of higher self embodiment for inner union and outer union. I've realized that there is just so much information intersecting on these topics that I feel like it's the most appropriate way to connect with you guys on this subject. So it's like what we're going to dive into is unraveling and dissolving any of the barriers that are keeping you from more fully embodying all of your higher self. And this is a major key to our inner union, okay? Because you guys have been working on your inner union, which is awesome. So imagine, and I know some of you have already been working on your higher self embodiment. Just imagine what we're going to do together is going to be like the motor to your boat, right? You're in your boat, you got your oars, you've been doing your thing with whatever's been coming in front of you. And now we're going to take it to that next level. Like I've been saying, we're really ready to level up. So we're going to work with interweaving these things because that higher self embodiment into physicality is going, like I said, to be the motor for the boat of the inner union. So it's going to be working with what you've already done and dropping it into more and more layers of who we are and connecting it more deeply with the earth. And why I've been guided to do this way is because as we're coming into these inner union energies, that's the guidance that's letting us know we're more and more ready to really truly begin building the new earth energies in a very tangible, stabilized way. This is not to say that you haven't been doing it. I know that you have, but this is kind of like that green light that enough of us collectively have reached this point that we're in our own inner energies, that we're coming together in bigger ways in community energies to really start to co-create and build and manifest and draw in the supports and the connections and the experiences that we're going to need and want to strengthen these new energies in the world. Okay. Because, like I've said, in the general collective, the momentum has one direction. Those of you here with me have chosen a different direction. You're actually, in a lot of sense, when it's comparative to where things were headed, you're learning how to create your own momentum in sovereign energy, in your true path to freedom, right? And so this series is going to support that process. And we're going to learn things together for sure, because everything I do here, yes, it's coming from some experience that I've had, but also everything I'm sharing with you, I'm also walking alongside you, working through different layers of that for myself as well. So we're just gonna go deeper and wider and really create this beautiful essence of support for this inner union, outer union, divine higher self, higher power embodiment. Okay. And this kind of clicks back to the inner union series. So in the description box and in the pinned comment, I'm going to drop the playlist and as well as the specific video I did in that playlist on higher self embodiment. But it even goes back to the last few videos that we've done talking about the divine counterparts in twin flame energies really being the essence and the energy of the true power couples. And it's not to say it's a better than, but it's about saying, like, we're here as individuals, as counterparts, as partners, as a community, as a collective to really support in bringing in these new higher energies of unity consciousness, oneness consciousness, sovereignty consciousness, right? And so we're doing this yes, for the counterpart energies and to hopefully experience these beautiful partnerships and physicality, which I do believe is what is going to be unfolding one way or another, whether it's the person that you originally thought or someone different. Either way, we're holding space for whatever is in our highest potential and highest alignment, right? Because when we're in that surrendered state to our higher power, to our highest self, to our creator, to our highest source, however you resonate with that, that puts us in the position, and in my understanding, or at least the way that I do things, is once I know I'm in that alignment, then that supports me in being able to create what my soul intended to create as I embodied here. Because some of the things that have been coming up and why this higher self information is so important is, of course, your soul has all of this information and you have access to it all of the time as you learn how to access it. And so we'll be diving into some tips and tricks and ways to do that, right? And also, what's really been coming through is where, when we were born, when we were babies, when we were coming into the physical body, we were still very strongly connected to our higher power and our source. And through the embodiment process and the core soul wounds is where we lost some of that connection. It was always still there, but like we forgot. Do you know what I'm saying? It's we had, in a lot of ways, at least I did. I have a very specific memory at around 3 years old choosing to shut down my stream because I chose to dissociate because it was the only way I could survive because I was three and no one around me understood what I was experiencing, what I was seeing, what I was hearing. Okay. And so it was a form of a protective mechanism that many of us, if not all of us, I think went to through some extent. So it's really just reactivating what was always there and always present, remembering these skills, remembering these abilities, thawing out the dissociation, whether it was having to dissociate in this life or past life or the ancestral patterns of dissociation, the planetary patterns of dissociation that humanity took on in order to survive. Okay, so we're going to honor that process of the ancestors and for our own selves that got us to this point because we were strong enough to survive and to get ourselves here. But now I'm excited because we can actually start to thaw and clear out the dissociation that was keeping us in the patterns of giving away our power or accepting abusive types of situations or giving away our sovereignty and our energy and not even realizing to the degree which we were surrendering our rights. Okay. So I just said surrender again, and I want to address that real quick because there's differences. It's a different energy when you're choosing to align with the highest power and thy will, the highest will, and you are surrendering to that versus surrendering your power to an authority figure in the physical world who's also experiencing the same types of distortion as you are. Okay, like surrendering to the distortion is what we're actually unraveling. And part of how I have learned to maneuver through some of that is to essentially trust, fall, and have faith in the highest power. Okay, because some of these pockets that we experience as humans, as we're unraveling out of the old programming, and we're forging our own path, is that there's really not that much of a roadmap. Okay. But that's why we're here together because we're learning how to build that together. Okay. And this is also why being in the present moment is so powerful because our power is in the present. And this is where we're building and creating and bridging the life that we want. We're learning how to become conscious co creators with our highest power, with our highest source, and all over source of our creation. okay? Because we are sparks of that original creation. And as individuals, we are learning how to be sovereign. So, as we learn how to be sovereign and self loving to ourselves, this is when we can actually build back into the oneness and the unity consciousness while still being sovereign in our own individuality. And this is a really beautiful energy because as we respect ourselves, it becomes easier to respect others. But it's also really important to know who we are and to thaw the dissociation so we can embody the parts of who we are. Because once we know more of who we are, then we can hold that space with and for others to step into their sovereignty and their oneness and their unity consciousness. Okay. And you see how, as we come together and we work individually, but also as a group, as a collective, it amplifies the energy and it supports this process and becoming more and more stable on our planet. And then we're building our own momentum in the new energies, which is going to make it easier for the general collective to start to see how we can move into unity consciousness in a stabilized, safe way. Okay, because in the other consciousness, we're taught to be against each other. It was a division. And to some degree, it taught us a lot. It taught us about all these different possibilities and potentials, and it pushed us into the extremes. But now we're in this process of saying, okay, I can hold the extremes in a neutral fashion. Okay, I might not agree with it all, I might not like it all, but we've been learning how to handle all of that so that we can handle all of who we are and accept who we are because of the mirror being shown to us. And as we do that, we move into these energies of unconditionally loving unity consciousness, but in a way where we're caring for ourselves and protecting ourselves in appropriate ways. Okay. So we're coming from assertive types of energies versus passive or aggressive. There is a lot of different ways that this can go. And now I'm just going to say, I love how my higher self had this awareness before my physical human was fully conscious of what we were going to be doing in this higher self series. And this is a perfect example I can make of myself. Back 6 weeks ago or so, I said I got the guidance that it's going to be a higher self series versus one video. And I wasn't sure how that was going to pan out. But now all of a sudden it's come together and it's become so obvious that it all interweaves. And 22 days will hopefully be enough to at least do it some justice so that we can really bring these energies into a co-creative, physically manifested form together here. Okay. And of course, why I love doing these videos is because there's a lot that we're working through, and anything that you guys are ready to do on your own, run with it, fly with it, take inspiration from it, morph it, change it, turn it into what works for you. And obviously, I'm here if you need extra support. I have my one-on-ones. I'm really, really, really excited because I'm also feeling with this series a great potential for us to move into group work, community work together. So drop in the comments, let me know if that's something that you guys are feeling or excited about. Okay, and I'll just tell you real quick, when I work in groups, we come in, you're able to come in and be live with me, like in the Zoom room. You can be anonymous if you want to. You can get the recording if you would prefer to listen and partake on your own. Your energy will always be included in the group. Once you sign up with me, our work starts. As those of you who have signed up for sessions with me have discovered, our work together starts really pretty quite immediately, even if your session is a week, 2, 3 weeks out. Okay. It's very powerful work that we're doing here, just co-creating these videos on this channel. Like I said, you guys have been helping me co-create the information that's going to come through in this series. Okay. So I'm want to thank you for that. I'm excited that the channel is growing and that our connection is growing. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to where this series is going to take us and how much more and it's going to help us to stabilize into our inner union, preparing more and more for those divine union, unity consciousness, loving energies to solidify and strengthen more and more and more into our lives and into our connection with Mother Earth, supporting her in flourishing, supporting us in flourishing, because as she flourishes, we flourish, and vice versa, really strengthening and honing in on our deep connection to the earth, re-establishing and strengthening just how very important our relationship is to the earth and our ability to co-create, manifest, and build on this planet in a sovereign unity consciousness way, and remembering our true energy in connection with the earth and establishing that in a more strong way. As I'm saying it to you, I'm getting excited to do this even for myself as deeply as I'm connected with the earth, like to strengthen that, like I want to cry, but out of so much love that I have for this planet and for you and for what we're embarking on. So yeah, didn't know that was gonna come, but thank you so much for being here with me and doing the work that you're doing. And I'm really looking forward to sharing this space with you. And thank you for being here. And I'm going to talk to you soon, loves. I love you and have a beautiful rest of your day.